Hi guys, happy Friday. So I've been meaning to make this video for a while, and I was like, today's gonna be the perfect day to film it because it's sunny and nice outside. I'm gonna get my son to go to sleep and then film this video super easy. But everything has been working against me to film this video, so I hope I'm actually able to even finish filming this video because I had to wash my parts. My son didn't go to sleep at normal time. My camera is messed up, so I'm filming this on my phone, so I hope the quality and the sound is okay. Fingers crossed, but I am excited to share with you all things that I know about pumping that I didn't know before. Now, I began pumping when I was 1 month postpartum. My son was having problems latching and it was becoming very painful. I didn't even know you could exclusively pump until I started doing some more research. I tried to go to a lactation, hang on, let me check him. I tried to go to a lactation consultant meeting, so I met with some people at the hospital who are lactation consultants, and they kind of helped. And then I even went to like a group meeting for breastfeeding, and that kind of helped, but at the end it was just becoming too painful, and I decided to try exclusively pumping. And that's one thing I feel like my hospital didn't inform me about, because whenever I mentioned pumping, they're like, oh, you have to wait till you're 6 weeks or 8 weeks postpartum, or you know, at the end of the day, feeding from the actual breast is better. And I'll just say that I breastfeed my son. Even though I'm pumping, he is still getting breast milk, so I'm still breastfeeding my son. I know there's all kinds of comments about that, and that's just personally how I feel. And I say you can say the same thing. I ended up joining a lot of Facebook groups, which I'll tell you more about later, but a lot of them say fed is best. It doesn't matter which way you're feeding your child. Most importantly, they're getting fed and they're happy. So that was a little bit about my story. So once I started exclusively pumping, there is so much to learn so fast, and I was reading all kinds of different articles on the internet, and I just felt like from my research I was getting a little bit here, a little bit there, and a little bit here. So I wanted to make this video where I kind of share with you everything I learned and kind of what I know. I hope this video isn't too long, and I'm sure I'm going to leave something out, so if you have a question, leave it below, or I can make another video about a certain topic related to exclusively pumping. So when I first started exclusively pumping, I pumped 6 times a day. I think the schedule was 5, 9, noon, 3, 6, 9. And I did that for, oh gosh, quite a while. And I got a pump through my insurance for free, and it's the Lancino Smart Pump. However, I never hooked it up to my phone. You can do that if you're interested. And I quickly was able to supply enough food for my son, and I eventually got to the point where I was an oversupplier. And I think a lot of that has to do with how strict I stuck to my schedule. I stuck to it super strict. I have still only ever slept past 5 because I still pump at 5 and I'm 8 months postpartum. I stuck to a super strict schedule, and I pumped from anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes each time. I would say aim for about 20, and that's one thing I'll share with you that I learned. I read one article that says it's not necessarily the amount and times you pump. The key is to pump for at least 2 hours a day. So if you're going to pump for 6 times a day, then divide 2 hours by 6, and that's how long you need to pump each time. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. So when I pump for 6 times a day, I pumped for 20 minutes each time, and that equaled about 2 hours, and that made me keep my supply, and like I said, I started to become an overproducer. So, recommendations for when you start pumping. I have like a whole notebook here that I'm just going to go over, and I don't even know how all this is going to work. Anyways, so my number one recommendation is set somewhere comfy. I might show you the spot that I set on my couch when I pump, but I have made 2 other videos, days in my life videos, with a 3-month-old and a 6-month-old. You can go watch to kind of see what my schedule is like and where I pump, and I share a little bit of information about pumping there as well. So my recommendations is always have a water with you when you're pumping. It's so important to drink a water while you're pumping, and that's my rule, and there have been plenty of days that I have not stuck to that rule, and I ended up getting a headache and dehydrated from not sticking to that rule. My next thing would be have extra storage, and I plan to show you like my bottles and everything, but have some extra storage bottles to start storing stuff in the fridge. A jersey t-shirt. So I love these t-shirts. I love wearing them around with leggings. It's just a big t-shirt, and this one says WKU because I graduated from Western Kentucky University, and these are perfect for pumping, especially in the winter, because you can roll your shirt up, clip your pump up, and pull this over and still stay warm. And another thing with that is to have a blanket next to you, because I don't like my stomach feeling a chill in the air, so I like to wrap a blanket around my stomach as well. And one thing now, like, it was so nice when Milo would sleep through most of my pumps, but he doesn't do that now. So I would say have some toys within reach that you could grab if your baby's still awake, or a pacifier, or anything you will need while they're awake. Just go ahead and set that by you. I feel like sometimes it takes me 5 to 10 minutes to get prepped to pump, but that's just because when I sit down, I don't want to feel like I have to get anything, that I have everything next to me. Like I said, timing is key. Try to aim for at least 2 hours a day. And just real quick, I should have said this earlier, I am in no way a professional. Like, talk to your doctor or OBGYN or lactation consultant, or do your own research. This is just what I have learned from my experience. Second, apply olive oil inside your flange here and on the edge here. I noticed I started to get dry skin on my breast around this, and that has helped, but this also helps your nipple. I have had cracked nipples, I have had dry nipples, and the olive oil helps. I recently started using coconut oil as well. I actually heard coconut oil is a little better, and I just got like one of the ones from Kroger's that I can also try to show you. I really like these Lancino bottles. This one here is an 8 ounce. And one thing too I recommend, when you get your storage bottles, try to like double it or maybe even triple it, and you'll have to invest some money in it, but it is so nice having multiple bottles that I don't have to wash each time. And the same with flanges. Buy a couple different flanges as well. It takes so much stress off of you with everything else you have to do. Facebook groups are so important. I'm a part of a nursing and pumping group, I'm a part of an exclusively pumping group, and I'm a part of an oversupplier pumping group. And it's kind of annoying how much they all have information on my newsfeed. Like if I'm just wanting to scroll Facebook and just see what my friends are doing, all of these pops up. But you can make it your notifications where that doesn't happen. But these groups have been so helpful. If you have any questions, they will help you. They have resources to help you. And also just seeing women going through the same struggles you're having is so encouraging, knowing that you're not alone. I use this strap. It is the Medela. I think I got it from Target probably. And this is what I use to strap around me and pump. I wash this every couple of days, and I do keep a washcloth with me when I pump, so these always sit kind of on my couch. And what I do with this, oftentimes when I go to take the pump off of me, milk starts to leak everywhere. So when I'm done, I unzip it, I still leave it hooked at the top, and I will actually stick this washcloth in to unsuction the flange from my breast. And this catches any extra milk, that way it's not going down your stomach, because that's really annoying, especially if you have a nice skirt or pair of pants on. Hi guys, this is not my day. Like I mentioned, my video my phone just completely shut down, and I thought I lost my video and I almost had a slight heart attack, but I am back and I hope everything's in the same position. What I was talking about is I saw this thing on Pinterest where you can not have to use this if you ever have to pump. Like I said, I don't think I got as good as suction on it, but if you forget it or you just have to pump real quick, I feel like this would work. Maybe try to share the pin down below or go follow me on Pinterest. You take your nursing bra and you can unhook it and hook the flange in there and then hook it back on with the little nursing bra strap. I don't really feel comfortable showing you, but just Google it and I'm sure it'll show you how to do it. That can work if you need to, but like I said, I don't feel as I got enough suction. I have traveled and pumped. My family lived 4 hours away from me and I've had to pump on the road, and it is not hard. It is a lot of prepping. You have to have all your parts ready. You have to have them where you can reach it in the car. Then when you're sitting in the back seat with a baby, that adds a whole other dimension. And if you want a video just on traveling, I will even show you how I set it up in the car to use. My Lancino pump, I can actually pump on just battery power, which I've done that before. Sometimes you don't get as good as a suction as when you're plugged into the wall. But my husband also has something that you can plug into the front seat and actually plug it in so that it's running off that type of power, whatever that type of power is called. Okay, I have also had some clots. I'm actually have had them less and less now that I'm farther along, but they are painful. I have had it one time where it was so bad that I even tried this thing where you get on all fours while you're pumping and you hang because gravity is supposed to kind of help get that clot out. I have had to stand in the shower and let hot water fall on my breast to try to get the clot out. The main thing is to stay on a regular schedule. And then when you start even feeling it a little bit, like try your best to massage it, pump a little extra, hand express if you can. And there's all kinds of different pins and stuff with that as well. But clots are most likely going to happen. Thankfully, I have not had mastitis. Cracked nipples. So clots were painful, but cracked nipples actually made me consider stopping pumping. One time I had one very, very bad, to the point that I was dreading pumping. I would be hooked up and I would delay putting my finger on the button to start it because I knew the pain I was about to feel. So if you're going through that now, I feel for you. It will pass. They normally only last about a week. There's normally 1 or 2 real bad days and they get a little bit better. My main tip to prevent that is to apply, like I said, apply the oils and stuff in this when you pump, especially in the winter. Make sure you're putting something safe on your nipples to keep it moisturized. And the other big thing is if you do have a cracked nipple, sleep without a bra a couple times. I don't really like sleeping without a bra because I feel like I'm gonna leak on my bed and I don't want to, but that made a huge difference, is letting your nipple air out, and that is so important. So that's kind of all that I had on my notes. Just a quick update on where I am now. So I pump now at 5:30, 1:30, and 9 or 9:30. I plan on doing this possibly through when he's 9. According to some Pinterest charts, at about 9 to 10 months, you can start to drop down to 2. I pump about 34 ounces now. When I pumped 4, I was at 40 to 42 ounces. So by dropping to 3, I dropped like 7 ounces, but because I was an oversupplier, it didn't matter too much. I'll keep you updated on this channel about how my pumping journey goes, and maybe even a video at the end what it was like pumping from 9 to 12 months. It is so much easier now. I am still glad I did it. My goal is to pump till he's a year old, and I have a stockpile of about 500 ounces in the fridge. My milk dated back all the way to, gosh, like August. So he started drinking it. He's been drinking frozen milk for a while. He drinks about 1 bag a day because you're not really supposed to go over 4 to 6 months. And one thing about that real quick, they're like, don't let him drink milk that's set out for this long, and don't let him drink this milk that's been in the freezer this long. Smell the milk. Go with your intuition is my greatest tip with that. Alright guys, so now I'm going to kind of take you around my house and kind of show you how the different things are around my house set up for my pumping. So this here is where I pump, and I have my Lancino pump here. This is actually the seat closest to a outlet that I can plug into. I actually keep a box of tissues here, especially while I'm pumping. Sometimes I can't get up and get a tissue if I need it. And this here is virgin coconut oil cold press I got from Kroger for like $5, and I keep this here. One thing too is with my 130 pump, I now set on the floor because I have a little blanket so Milo can crawl and play. I have some toys laid out, and it's just easier now to do it on the floor instead of on the couch because he can now try to roll off the couch, and that's hard to catch him and deal with him while you're trying to sit there and pump. So just, that works for me. So this here is my pump parts, and I realized they might have to move with my son starting to learn how to crawl. I keep this one here. It has all the different storage bottles. Probably around 5 months, maybe even 4, I started to pump more than just 3, 4, 5 ounces. So I got a few of these, which I recommend. And then I have multiple ones of these, and then the different lids for them. And I actually just organized this the other day because it was looking like a hot mess. So always make sure you have some of these, because sometimes the ends of them will like split, and when they do, you'll know because you get a very weird sound and suction from it. So I have backup of these, and I've actually read you're supposed to change these every so many months or weeks, but my suction's still fine. So these are my backups. Keep this. I've used this before to help get clots out. It's called a haka. I have multiple bottles and nipples for him here. This here is some more storage bottles. So the other bottles were Lancino. These are Advent by Philips, and they're really good. However, when you put the lids on them, and they're in the fridge and you go to shake it to mix the milk up, it will leak unless these are tied super tight, and I never have that problem with Lancino. However, you can write the dates on this, which is super nice to keep track of. And I have some different bottle lids in here. One thing too I really recommend is I had originally heard that you should wash boil the bottles like every day, but that was too much for me, and I slid off the track super bad to where I hadn't done it in weeks, and my bottles started to stink. So I put my bottles that he uses during the day in this bowl, so I wash them all at once, so I'm not washing them multiple times a day. And I kind of empty them out and sometimes rinse them out, but that little extra milk that was staying in there was creating a horrible smell in the bottle, and I hand wash my bottles. I do not put them in the dishwasher. I had kind of read that sometimes that can make them get a weird smell to begin with. So one thing I really recommend is do boil your bottles at least once every so many days or once a week, because they will start to get a horrible smell with the milk in them. So this is where I wash my bottles, and I washed them actually right before I filmed. This is the big bowl I use. I just set this off to the side, and when he drinks a bottle or after I've emptied a bottle from pumping, I just set this to the side and put the bottles in it. I use this to clean my bottles, and then I use this Method dish soap if you're interested. For my freezer, if you're interested, I just found a little box that fit perfectly down in there, and this is where I store my milk, and I stored them in Lancino bottles, and I just lay them in there, and then I will bag them up once there's about 10 or so into bags like this and write the date on them. And my mother-in-law actually lets me store my milk in her freezer, which helps because I do not have a very big freezer. And then this is where I put the bottles and some of his food he's been eating. So you can see I have quite a few bottles. And I also have learned when you are doing a bag to thaw, I get one of these cups because I have had too many bags leak milk. So I just get a bag and I set it out at night, and then normally by lunch it's thaw enough for him to drink, and he will drink that. There has been a few bags where it just smells too bad that I end up tossing it, and it kind of makes me sick because I worked hard for that milk. But just my motherly intuition says don't feed that to him. One other little tip I just thought of, don't look at your milk while you're pumping. It can end up stressing you out because I know I have looked down before at 12 minutes and I'm like, oh no, I don't have my normal amount. Even though I'm an oversupplier, I have thought multiple times that my milk was drying up and stuff like that, and just don't stress yourself out. I've seen actually a thing on Facebook groups that say put a little baby sock over your bottle so you're not even tempted to look down there because you can't see it, because it will help you relax more. And one thing I've tried to do, I have worked and done work stuff while pumping, and that's fine. I don't feel like it affects my supply too much, but try to relax. Use that as your relax time. Watch a show. It helps the time go by so much faster. Call a friend, text a friend. I try to stay off Facebook and stuff too much because the way I have to set, I end up feeling like it hurts my neck too much. One thing too, I just wanted to show you real quick just how to put these together. You just take this little part here, and like I said, this is how it's supposed to look, and I have had the end slit, and that means that something has happened to it. When you wash these, I wash the tip and I wash a little bit in here, but do not push something through here. It will rip it and you'll be all comfy pumping and realize you have to go change it. So this slides on here, then you set the bottle up, and then you just screw on the lid, which I can't do that one-handed. And then you put these, I don't fully understand these, but I always make this point towards the hole. And then you just tighten this on, and then you just put the flange on. One thing as well, I just feel like I have so many different things popping in my head to make sure to tell you guys. I hope I can edit this to where it doesn't seem just like a flood of information. But when I was in the hospital after having Milo, one of the lactation consultants told me, because I brought my pump, you can bring your pump and they can show you how to use it, which I thought was really helpful. And even though they didn't recommend pumping, they realized that you do have to pump sometimes. So she showed me how to use it, and I had a pretty good supply of milk even from the beginning, and she told me you're probably going to need a larger flange. There's all kinds of helpful things on the internet about finding which flange size you are. So I got the larger one to begin with, and that worked fine for my breast, but since the past month it has not worked fine, and I think that's part of the reason I got a cracked nipple. So I switched back to the smaller size that originally came, and that's what's working for me. And from what I've learned, it is totally normal for your nipple size to change during your postpartum. So don't freak out if it's not feeling comfortable or it's not working anymore. And also I feel like I'm getting more milk supply now that I have one fitting better. So I hope you guys liked this video and that this video was helpful. I feel like it was kind of all over the place, but there's just so much information, and as a new mom, you're trying to do the best you can. So just know you are doing the best you can, even by just trying to watch videos like this just to get a little help to help you learn a little more. You're doing great, and I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. Like I said, you can follow my Pinterest because I do try to save stuff to my breastfeeding board on Pinterest. And I hope you guys have a happy Friday. Bye, guys. He actually made it through my video.
Hi, my love. Hi. Thanks for sleeping for mommy.